If your team runs cloud workloads, AI services, developer pipelines, or internet-facing infrastructure, today's security question is simple. Which patch changes your blast radius first? This is Daily Tech Hack Global for July 14, 2026. The facts in this briefing come from NBD, CISO when reachable, and linked vendor advisories. I will keep the discussion defensive, no exploit commands, no payloads, and no step-by-step attack chains. The lead item is CVE-2026-15378. NBD describes it as, a flaw was found in the guardrails detectors component. This vulnerability allows a remote attacker to perform a blind server-side request forgery, SSRF, by submitting a specially crafted XML schema definition, XSD, string. This can lead to unauthorized access to sensitive information, including credentials from cloud metadata services, Kubernetes API, internal MinIO, and other internal network endpoints. Additionally, it enables local file reads of critical data such as service account tokens and pod secrets. The recorded severity is critical with CVSS 9.3. Why it matters: runtimes and orchestration nodes sit underneath AI services, CI jobs, and production workloads, so identity and image trust can become blast radius multipliers. The second item is CVE 2026-61445. NBD summarizes it as, praise an AI before April 6, 78 contains arbitrary file write and command execution vulnerabilities in the AI coder component due to missing path validation and command sanitization in LLM tool calls. Attackers can inject malicious prompts through the chat interface to write files to arbitrary file system locations and execute arbitrary shell commands with root privileges. Severity is critical with CVSS 9.9. The operational takeaway is to map this advisory to exposed systems, service credentials, and any automation that can turn a small weakness into a larger incident. Item 3 is CVE 2026-59801. 9 Router through version 0.4.41 contains an unauthenticated access vulnerability that allows remote attackers to interact with provider management API endpoints by sending requests without any credentials due to missing authentication middleware in the Next.js API routes under src/app/api/provider/star. Attackers can enumerate, create, modify, or delete provider connections to expose partial credentials, OAuth tokens. Severity, critical, CVSS 9.8. Defensive context, prioritized by exposure, privilege, reachable credentials, and whether automation can amplify impact. Item 4 is CVE 2026-62327. 9 Router through version 0.4.41 contain an unauthenticated information disclosure vulnerability that allows remote attackers to retrieve plaintext API keys for all connected AI provider accounts by sending a single unauthenticated request to the /API/usage/stats endpoint. Attackers can exploit the missing authentication middleware on the Next.js API route to obtain full API key strings alongside token counts, cost-free. Severity, critical, CVSS 9.1. Defensive context, prioritized by exposure, privilege, reachable credentials, and whether automation can amplify impact. Here is the defender checklist. First, identify whether any affected product is internet-facing, reachable from CI systems, or reachable by AI agents and automation. Second, patch according to the vendor advisory, not just the headline score. Third, review service accounts, API keys, pod identities, OAuth apps, and tool credentials that could be reused if the affected system was compromised. Fourth, add monitoring around unusual admin actions, image pulls, tool calls, authentication failures, and outbound network requests. Fifth, document what was patched and what was deferred so tomorrow's team can audit the risk instead of rediscovering it. The larger lesson is that AI security is not only prompt security. It is the security of runtimes, cloud services, tool connectors, identity boundaries, and the operational process that decides what gets patched first. Patch what is exposed, reduce what is privileged, rotate what may have leaked, and make automation prove what it is allowed to touch.